What's going on, everybody? Steve here, Rake and Profit. Welcome to today's live training. Just going to make sure I put my phone on do not disturb right now. What's up, everybody? Welcome, welcome. I'm pumped up to do some live sourcing today. We're going to go through some deals and we're going to see if we could find any profitable deals. We're going to analyze some deals. I'm going to be walking you through the process of how I pretty much look at a product and determine if I want to buy it. So I'll be looking at Keepa charts. I'll be looking at price history. I'll be looking at information such as have I sold the item before? And if I have, how much did I sell it for? How many times per month is it selling? The sales rank, so on and so forth. So yeah, we'll be doing a screen share in a couple of minutes. What's up, Gary? What's happening? Hustle Dimes. Great to see you here. Good afternoon, Kevin. What's up, Robert? What's going on, everybody? Let me know down below in the comments, how are your sales doing on Amazon? Would love to know. How are your sales going? Are things on the uppity up? Are you struggling to find inventory? And I'd be curious, where are you going to source your inventory? Are you sourcing from thrift stores, garage sales? Are you doing eBay to Amazon flips like I am? Are you doing Amazon to Amazon flips? Maybe you're hitting some flea markets. Maybe you're sourcing from Facebook Marketplace. And what are you flipping? You flipping books? You flipping DVDs? You flipping office supplies, electronics? What's up, Raymond? Great to see you guys here. So we'll be doing some live sourcing in a couple of minutes. And if you have any questions about selling on Amazon, ask away. I'm here to help you during this video. First shipment received by Amazon just a few minutes ago. Let me throw that on the screen. Congratulations, Grounded MC. That's the toughest part of selling on Amazon when you're first getting started is, you know, getting out there and learning how to analyze those deals, how to buy your first couple of products, and then having the confidence to go out and, you know, list it, box it up, ship it to FBA or, you know, maybe merchant fulfilling, but it looks like your first shipment received by Amazon. So it looks like you FBA'd it. We officially have a fly in my room right now, and we got Gizmo. His heart is pounding. Everyone say hi to Gizmo. Live on the Rake and Profit YouTube channel. So you're probably going to see him running around because there is a fly. And this is not my microphone. There is a fly flying around and he can't help himself behind the scenes. You going to get him, buddy? You going to get that fly? I wish, man, you know what? I wish my virtual assistants were as hungry as Gizmo for looking for deals for me. No, I'm just kidding. They're amazing. I love my virtual assistants. Raymond says hitting up high schools. Hey, Gizmo. Yeah, Gizmo's going crazy. All right, used books. Jill says, are you selling used books products? If so, there are no ungated requirements for used products. If you're a new seller, Jill, you're going to be gated and restricted on a lot of products, even a lot of used books. You might only be able to sell 20 or 30% of those items, right? But as you sell more and more items, Amazon's going to allow you to get auto and gated in more products and more books. They're essentially going to give you more line and more trust to be able to sell more products and whatnot. But for me personally, Jill, you know, I've been selling for 10 plus years. I'm ungated in a lot of brands and products. I sell mostly new. Now with books, I only sell used. I will not sell a book as new because it's pretty known in the community that publishers will go after you. Amazon will go after you for selling new books. But I sell mostly everything else, you know, new. And I could show you some examples and stuff in a couple of minutes of some of the items that I am selling and flipping. DVDs new, electronics new, office supplies, board games. Again, I'll show you real life examples in a couple of minutes. Noel says, I've been doing books from thrift stores, but want to expand. I think DVDs is like one of the next best, you know, categories to get into, right? DVDs. I love flipping DVDs. Where do you buy new books in bulk? So I don't sell new books at all. In terms of where to buy new books, honestly, I'm not sure because I've never bought new books in bulk. I used to use Pallet IQ for buying used books in bulk. But for me now, I feel like it's way more profitable if you have the capital, Jill, to buy used books off of eBay to flip on Amazon or do Amazon to Amazon flips. And DVDs as well. You know, I buy all my inventory from eBay, and I'm happy to show you guys some of these items that I'm buying and flipping. And I'll share proof and everything. But the thing with like bulk books is you're going to make $1 or $2 or $3 on these flips. Whereas like if you're doing Amazon to Amazon flips or eBay to Amazon or even thrift stores, a lot of these items you can make 10, 15, 20. I mean, my average selling price is over $100 right now over the last year after selling over 6,000 products. So yeah. All right. Let me dive into things. I'm going to share my screen and we're going to analyze some deals together. Hope you guys are having an amazing day so far. And let me share my screen and we'll get into the fun stuff and analyze some deals together. Okay, so let me see how to share my screen. Present, share screen. All right, perfect. So I want to make sure that you guys can see my screen right now. I'm going to open up the comments on my phone as well. And I got to get my cat out of here because this guy is not going to stop. All right, buddy, I'm sorry. We got to get you going, buddy. I'm not as talented with my multitasking anymore the older I get. So if I got Gizmo trying to catch a fly the whole entire time. But yeah, I'm going to pull up the comments on YouTube because I want to make sure that I can answer questions and see the questions as they come in because I want this to be interactive. I don't want to just be talking to a camera. I want to be answering your guys' questions. And, I'm going to take you behind the scenes of how I'm thinking in terms of analyzing deals and whatnot. But I want you guys to, ask questions as well if you have questions. So, okay, perfect. We got Jesse in the house. What's up, Jesse? I've been talking to Jesse in the DMs a little bit, giving him some advice and helping him out. Young guy, but taking a ton of action. I love it, Jesse. He sold his first E2A flip that I sourced from Replen Catcher yesterday. Awesome. So congrats, Jesse. And yeah, let's get into it, guys. So give me a thumbs up or an emoji or put a 1 in the comments if you could see my screen right now. I am actually using a tool right now called Replen Catcher. And this is a tool that I use to be able to source deals from eBay to Amazon. And I'm not going to do like a full tutorial on this tool right now. I really want to just kind of go through some deals and share some good deals, maybe some bad deals, and just let you kind of see behind the scenes of how I think and stuff. But in a nutshell, with Replen Catcher, there's 2 ways to use this software. One way is you can upload your own custom replens list and you can track and monitor pretty much any product that you want on eBay 24/7. And if it comes up at a certain price, Replen Catcher will notify you, right? Right here is the live stream. So you can choose a category. So I chose movies and TV, toys and games, video games, and sporting goods. And I chose new condition because I flip a lot of new. I put in $5 minimum profit and 30% ROI. And then I just hit search. Okay. So we're going to look through these categories and see if we could find some deals and find some opportunities. And I kind of want to just talk about, my thoughts on some of these deals and these opportunities. Now, one thing that's cool about Replen Catcher is you can integrate it with your Amazon seller account. So you can actually identify which products you're able to sell and which ones you're not able to sell. So for example, if I scroll down, if you see this like pink background, that means that you're restricted on the item. Now I could apply to sell and they might auto ungate me. But I'm not going to do that in this video, but anything that's in the white is something that I'm ungated for that I could resell. And also if you ever see anything in the gold, I'm going to turn this button on right here. Anything in the gold, these are going to be items that you've sold before. Okay. So this item right here is a Scrabble item that I could purchase right now on eBay for $35. Let's see if this is available still. Oh, wow. It is. Look at this. $35 Scrabble Express. How do I know I could sell it? Well, because it's not in the red. I could also hit this button, check if gated, and I'm approved. The only thing I can't sell this as is used, but I'm going to flip this as new. So you can see I've sold this item 18 times in the last 12 months. You can see that I sold it May 31st for $99.99, May 22nd for $89, and April 14th for $85.68. So put a 1 in the comments or put your favorite emoji if you can see how powerful this is. Replen Catcher integrating with your Amazon account, and it'll identify what items you're restricted on, but also what items you sold before. It'll give you a gold background and share with you how many times you sold it in the last 12 months. And you could even see how much you sold it for. So that gives me a lot of confidence. And look, this is available for $35 right now. So what am I going to sell this for? Well, the first thing that I really like about Replen Catcher when I'm analyzing is there's a keep a chart right here. And if you click on it, it'll open up the keep a chart right here. So I want to know, based on what you see on this keep a chart, what do you think we could sell this item for brand new? Because Keepa tracks the price history. And when you're selling an item new, FBA, you want to be looking at that pink line, right? This is the buy box winner FBA. So you can see right here, it's around like maybe 75 and then around 100, maybe around 80, around 100. But look, I've sold this item before 18 times. Matter of fact, the last time I sold it was for $99.99. Replen Catchers is telling me, hey, you could sell this at $97.99 because that's the last captured value that we pulled from Keepa. Okay. What do you think we could sell this for? One thing I like to do is I like to click into it and I like to open up the sales page. And I use a tool called SellerAmp. Big shout out to SellerAmp. And if I scroll over here, I can actually see who's on the listing. So the lowest on the listing right now is 90.64 and then 97.99. Okay, 97.99. So, you know, honestly, I've sold this item before quite a few times. I'd probably price it at $97.99. And if I sold it at that price, I could hit this little calculator right here, because right here it's telling me I can make $42, but I have $7 in miscellaneous fees that I have to pay because I have virtual assistants that source for me. I have a prep center. I have like $2,400 a month in overhead. So I always put in a $7 miscellaneous fee. For you, it'll probably be $0 or $1 or maybe $2 if you have like a prep center or a virtual assistant. But my actual profit on this would be $35.52 and 100% ROI if I purchase this item right now. Does that make sense, guys? Put a 1 in the comments. But this is why Keepa is so important, because Keepa will share with you a snapshot in time of what this item has been selling for. And every green drop, that indicates a day with at least one sale. And you could open this up for 180 days, 90 days. So 30 days, this is what it's looking like. The buy box has been around 95 to 98. Looks like there's been some sales here. Look, June 18th, there was a sale. 21st, there was a sale. The 27th, the 30th. So I'm seeing sales, okay? And when I looked on Amazon, there's only a couple FBA sellers. So this is the type of item that I love to look out for. Now, one thing we would have to do before we buy an item on eBay is we want to take a look at the pictures. So we want to make sure that it's in good shape, especially if it's new. So I'm looking for any tears. I'm looking for any marks. That just looks like a reflection. I mean, this looks like a freaking great item to pick up right here. Matter of fact, I'm going to throw this in the comments really quickly. Let me see if I could. Actually, I think I could throw it in the comments over here. I like that listing. It's a long link. I'm sorry, but that's, if you're ungated in that is a pretty good little flip. We already found something pretty interesting right off of the bat. Now I could turn this filter off because that's just showing me items that I've sold. And let's hit refresh and let's see if we could see if there's any new items that are coming about here. And if you guys want me to target specific categories, let me know, right? If you want me to go on only after DVDs or, you know, I could go after used books as well, but I don't flip a ton of used books right now. I'm mostly new just because I have a prep center that focuses mostly on new, but I know Little Owl Prep does used as well. Here's something, $11.99. Replen Catcher is saying we can sell it for $29.95 because that's the last captured value. But I can see the 90-day average is about 25. The 180-day is 24. If I click into this Keepa chart, I can see that this buy box, matter of fact, in September was down at like 10, 15, then 25. Now it's up to 30. Now, I'm not saying I can't sell this for 30 bucks, but it seems a little unrealistic. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to, I'm going to click into this right now. And I can see the buy box is at $29.95, but a big mistake that a lot of people make is they buy items because they think they can sell it at the buy box price, but you don't want to live and die based on the current buy box price. You want to look at a couple different things. Number one, you want to take a look at where the other sellers are listing it. So this is a new item. So I'm going to pull up SellerAmp. So I could see FBM's at 24.82, which I don't really care about. FBA's at 29, the lowest, and then it goes 32, 32, 35. So I might be able to sell this at $29.95, but let's take a look at the history. if I take a look at the history of this item, okay, over the last year, I can see the buy box price again at 13. It looks like it's up at 26, 24, and now it's really elevated at 29 or 30. So could I sell this for 30? I could. Is it likely I will? Maybe. It depends. It really depends, because the offer count right here is at 10 new. If we get a bunch of new offers coming in, this price is going to probably tank. Now, if I open this up over the history of this listing on Keepa, you can see there actually was a time where it was up at like 44, but there weren't really any sales. This really is an item I would say that's selling for like 20 to 25 bucks all day long. So, you know, if I purchase this item right now for $11.99 and sold it for $29.95, yes, I can make $7.52 if I didn't have any overhead or anything. But that's probably an item that I would most likely pass on for that reason. Does that make sense, guys? Could you show me your filter so I could follow along? Yeah, this is just a basic filter, Jesse, that I have right now. This is just movies and TV, video games, sporting goods, and toys. I just put it at new, $5 profit and 30% ROI. Typically, like I sent you in one of my messages recently, I usually use an advanced filter, but I'm just trying to keep things very simple. An advanced filter allows me to create specific rules for every single category and then stack them all into one filter. So I don't have to change in and out and like really optimize things, but I just want to keep things, you know, simple for this example right here. So let's refresh and see. So here's an item right here. This item's obviously used. The eBay seller put it as new, so I would skip that. All right, here's something. Looks like we got a box. A Lego box right here, Lego Ideas. If you click this little magnifying glass, it'll actually compare the two pictures. And what do you guys see right there? If you're going to sell items as new, especially Lego, Funko Pops, Amiibos, anything like that, you need to make sure the box is immaculate. And you could already see right here, this box is dented. So I would pass on that item. Here we have a PS3 game right here. Buy for $14.88. Replen Catcher is saying we could sell it for $32. Looks like this is selling for around $31 or $32 based on the buy box. But if I take a look at Keepa, I do see some history of it around 30 bucks up to about 33, 34. I do see in September it was like kind of hovering around $25. So what I'm going to actually do is I'm going to click into this one and I want to go into the current offers, and I want to see who's on this listing. What are they priced at? It's only selling about 2 times a month. It's a high rank at 88,000. Lowest FBA is at 32. If I go to data, and let's see if this is working because it wasn't working earlier. Maybe the buy box statistics is down on Keepa right now. But anyways, typically, okay, it's working. If I take a look over the last 365 days, looks like there are some people who have sold this item before. They won the buy box at 22, at 22. So right now, $32 seems overly inflated. Why? I don't see a history of sellers on this winning the buy box for that price. Okay. Again, I see this Waju guy on for 32, but he's still on the listing. Outlet Promotions and Rapid Prime, they're not on the listing anymore. They were FBA. They probably sold at 21, 22. So it looks like right here, what we're seeing is just overly inflated prices. Yeah, this Waju guy, 32, he's just been on the listing since March. He's not selling at all. Honestly, this item right here is more like a $22 item. This is why if you're going to buy from eBay or Amazon, or even if you're going to like a yard sale, and maybe you see like a PS3 game like this, and some people at garage sales, they just overprice their items. Maybe they're going to want 10 bucks. You might think, oh, I'm going to buy this for 10. Look, the buy box is at 32. I'm going to make $10 profit. But this is what I like to call an overly inflated buy box. Let me know if you guys understand what I'm talking about here. The buy box price does not mean you can sell it at this price, right? For example, say there's 100 houses for sale. No, let me put it this way. Say you live in a neighborhood with 100 houses, and over the last year, those houses have been selling for $500,000, right? Well, say that you go to sell your house and you put it at $800,000. but you're the only one selling it. That's the value. No, that's not the value. You're just taking advantage of a market inefficiency. There's no other competition. So somebody who doesn't have a lot of experience might pay the 800,000 because they're stupid. They should have done research, like for the example of, selling on Amazon, they should have looked on Keepa or looked on, maybe Zillow, sold listings, and realized that all these houses, the same one as yours, or this product is actually really only selling for 20, or that house is only selling for 500,000. So this is like crucial. If you're going to do any form of online arbitrage, I'm talking eBay to Amazon, Amazon to Amazon, even Facebook Marketplace, where you're going to have to pay up. You've got to make sure that you're not buying items at overly inflated prices. Put a 1 in the comments, guys, if this makes sense. This will save you so much money when you're selling on Amazon. And guess what? If you're thrifting, going to garage sales and maybe picking up things for 50 cents or $1 or library sales, you can get away with this and it's not going to hurt you as much. Can anybody guess why this wouldn't hurt you as much? It's because you're only paying 50 cents or $1. Your cost of goods is so low that you have so much room to make a big mistake and still make money. Whereas when you're doing eBay to Amazon or Amazon to Amazon, when you spend, when your cost of goods is 30, 40, 50% of your total expense compared to thrifting, it's only 2% or 5%. You don't have a lot of wiggle room to make mistakes. So I know that was a tangent, but that's something very, very important to keep in mind when you're analyzing deals. You really want to get a feel for what is the true intrinsic value. Okay. Here's another DVD that just popped up right here, $10.62. We can see right here, there's a history of this selling for around 30, maybe up to 40, maybe $27, $28. You can see the green drops right here. It's definitely selling. You can see the history on Replen Catcher. 30-day buy box is around 27. 180 is around 28. So it looks interesting. Let's make sure this is a match. Looks like a match. Let's click into the eBay picture and make sure this is actually new. So right here, you see the slip cover is disconnected. That's perfectly fine. Matter of fact, if you're ever going to sell DVDs and the slip cover is missing, it's honestly not a big deal. It's not a big deal at all. As long as the item is actually wrapped and in good shape. Now this looks like it might be damaged. I can't tell if that's damage or that is like a reflection. That might be a reflection. Let's just assume that this item's in good condition. If you were unsure, you could always send a message to the eBay seller and say, hey, just want to make sure like the back of that DVD, it's not damaged, is it? Another thing you could do is look at the description. A lot of times they won't have a description. So let's run the numbers on this. Buy it for $10.62. Is there a best offer? No. If there was, I would make a best offer. Let's go in and let's analyze this a little bit deeper with Keepa. So this is interesting. I'm seeing the buy box at $9.87. So did Replen Catcher miss Amazon's offer? Did Amazon slide in? I don't see them on the listing. Are they here? Let's filter this prime and new. Interesting. So this is why you always want to double check. That's interesting. Replen Catcher did not catch that at all. Very, very interesting. So yeah, you never want to trust the software. That's all I'm going to say. I don't care if you're using Replen Catcher, GoToLister, Be Cool, any software out there, there's limitations, right? So that's why you always want to kind of double check things. And we just found out that Amazon's on the listing. So maybe they just snuck on before Replen Catcher was able to catch it, but that's a bad buy. So always make sure Amazon's not on the listing. If they are on the listing, you always want to try to price a little bit less than them. I would recommend, like, if Amazon was on the listing for 30, I'd probably price it maybe like a couple % less than them to try to win the buy box. Jesse says the Keepa is crushed, though. The buy box has dropped. What are you referring to, Jesse? Which example? Gary says in video games, 8,000 rank is equal to 1 million rank in books. So this is a slow mover. I'm not really concerned with the rank, Gary. I'm more concerned with, the drops in Keepa, and I'm more concerned with the the history of sellers, and I'm more concerned with what's the previous history of this item actually selling, because I actually target a lot of items that don't look very good. They don't look very popular. And they might only sell, they might look like they only sell once every 3 months, but they could actually sell a lot faster if there's a good history of it selling at that price and there's not a lot of competition. So I really don't live and die by a lot of the metrics like rank and monthly sales. Like I'm more or less looking into keep, but I'm looking into the buy box statistics to get more information. Here's another DVD, 1062. This is a mismatch, as you can see. So I would skip that. Another mismatch. Here's an item right here, Marvel Legends. So we've got a toy, buy for $45. Replen Catcher saying we could sell it for $89.99. Definitely not a fast seller. See, this is the type of item that I like selling. It doesn't look very popular. It doesn't have a history of selling a ton, maybe once a month, once every, month or two. A lot of these can sell a lot faster if maybe there's no history of people selling it. So you have to look a little bit deeper into it. So let's take a look at this one right here. All right, so you can see the buy box is a merchant at $89.99. Let's go into data and buy box statistics. So over the last 90 days, well, first let's see if there's any FBA sellers. So there's one, Ozone Toys, for $89.98. Look, in the last 90 days, Ohio Toy Warehouse won it for $90.54. They're gone, so they probably sold it for $90. Poggers, not on the listing anymore, sold it for $90 most likely. Ozone Toys is still on it. If I open this up over 180 days, $365. Chris was on it, $119. I bet you I could sell this for $90. I am very, very confident I could sell this item for $90. If we go over to Replen Catcher, if we were to buy it for $45 and sell it for $90, that's about $27 profit right there. Not a lot of competition. Doesn't look very appealing. Doesn't look very sexy. Doesn't look like something your normal traditional online arbitrage seller would go after. I would go after something like that. Now, you would have to make sure it's a match. So let's take a look. I see the fire. I see the arm. Looks like the same item. Let's click into this. Looks like it's in good shape. Seller's got almost 5,000 feedback, 98% positive feedback. Always looking to see if there's a best offer, but there's not. If I wanted to send a message to make a best offer, I certainly could. It's got a little crease. It's not too bad. I do see the seals on it, which is good. I see the tape seal. I mean, this item's not, it's definitely got a little bit of wear. It's on the fence. It's definitely on the fence. I mean, I've sold items like this before. Probably could get away with it. Not a bad find right there. You would have to be ungated for Marvel, which I am. For you, you might not be ungated, but that's definitely not a bad item. That's an item I might pick up and, put $25 in my pocket. Again, doesn't look that great. 781,000 rank. Most people would say, I would never touch that thing with a 100-foot pole. Oh, I touch those things all the time. I could promise you. Another cool thing with Replen Catcher is you can go into your orders and you can actually see the items that you have sold recently, which is really cool. So let's see what I've sold today. A couple items, $87.99, electronic, $180, toner for $92, a Logitech item for $66, a DVD for $65. Here's a Star Wars item that I sold for $48, paid $18.30. Here's a scanner I sold for $420. Here's another DVD that I sold today, paid $33, sold it for $75. Let's analyze this and see if this was a good deal. Like, why did I purchase this? So you can see I bought this in May 13th for $33. Sold it for $75. And look, the price has actually come down to $68. We've got triangle distributions, undercutting, and autometric outlet. That's why I don't always go the lowest in place. Sometimes I'll price second or third in place. But let's actually see if we could reverse source this item. Let's see if there's any available. So actually, I'm going to click copy ASIN. I'm going to go back over to Replen Catcher, and I'm going to go to the live stream. And what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to go under ASIN. And I'm going to paste that in. And let's see if there's any opportunities. I'm actually going to lower this a little bit just because there might be some best offer opportunities where I could go in and make a best offer. But let's search and see if there's any available. Nope. None available. Well, it was worth a shot. Am I tracking that on my Replen Catcher? I probably am. Let's double check that. Why does your keep a chart only go till May? My keep a chart shows the drop in Replen Catcher. I'm not sure. Maybe you're on the 30-day or 90-day. You can change it. So, yep, I'm tracking this in the Replen Catcher. So, like, for example, let's find something. So if I go to show unadded, I can see all the items that I've sold that I haven't tracked in Replen Catcher. So this is an item that I sold 18 hours ago, paid 20, sold it for $60.99. So you can see right here, I sold the Racco card game for $60.99. Let's track that in the Replen Catcher as new. And the cool thing about the Replen Catcher is if you go into the Replen Catcher area, I'm tracking 3,692 items in the Replen Catcher area. So these are all items that I'm tracking and monitoring that I've sold before in the past. So let's go through here and maybe we'll analyze some deals. So you can see this is a DVD that I sold for $34.63. I sold that on February 14th, 2025. Right now we can see that Replen Catcher found it at a opportunity that is above 30% ROI. So let's go in and let's analyze this deal right here. So we can see there's a history of this selling for 30. Looks like the price really tanked down. It looks like it's coming back up again to maybe 30. Replen Catcher is saying we could sell it for 41. I'm not sure why, maybe because that's the lowest FBA offer, but let's go in and let's verify this and see if this is an item that I'd want to sell. So the buy box is $11.88, but that's used. Let's take a look at new. So that's used. There's no new offers here. Look at this. You can see that the count, the new count has really gone down. What did I sell this for? I sold this for $34.63. Let's go into the buy box statistics and see if there's a history of this selling for 30, 40 bucks. Not really. 21, 27, 29, 35. Yeah, there's not a real great history of this thing selling for a ton of money. I mean, the last month, really 24, 25 bucks. That's why I'm saying, guys, like, you can't live and die based on what Replen Catcher says or what Keepa says or what GoToLister says. Sometimes you just have to, you know, make a decision based on all the information that you're seeing. There's no offers on this right now. I probably could sell this for 35 bucks again. I've done it before. If I did sell this for $35, let's see. Well, if I sold it for 40, if I sold it for $41.52, that would be $8. So I have $7 in overhead that's pulling out of this Replen area. So it probably wouldn't be profitable for me, but for you, if you know, if you don't have virtual assistants and a team and a prep center and all that, this would probably be pretty profitable for you. So not a bad idea right there to look into that one. What software do you use when thrifting for books to see if they're good items to see? I don't really go thrifting anymore. I used to use Scout IQ, but honestly, if I go out now, I'll just use the Amazon seller app. But a lot of people are using Scoutly. What's up, Paul? Hey, man, Paul Lipsky, man, we got to catch up sometime. I got to give you a call. I've been checking out some of your content on AI and different things, man. You've been doing a really great job. All right, so let's go through some more deals here. Oh, what do we have here? Look at this. I sold this for $204, November 7th, 2024. I can pick this up for $68. This is either sold or damaged. Let's take a look. What in the world is this? Oh, it's an auction. That's why. That's an auction. So you can see it says auction. The buy it now price is higher, so that's not good. Let's try to find something. Holy crap. What is this item? I sold this item May 9th for $449. Then I sold it for $438 and then $405. Look at this thing. That thing's pretty consistent. We could pick that up for what? $197.98. Let's look at this. And there's 3 available. I don't like that the box is open. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the box being open, so I'd probably skip that one. Yes, sir, Paul. Ooh, let's look at this. I am obsessed with these guys. Who here sells these free sells? This is actually rare, as really rare to find this new. I'd be shocked if this is still available. Wow, it actually is. Is this thing in good shape? It looks like it's got a little bit of damage there. Yeah, unfortunately, I don't really like to sell things as new that have like, I mean, I could put a sticker over it, but the problem is with something like this, it's kind of messed up because you're selling it for a lot of money. I can't tell, is that that's got to be a crack, and I think they put some tape over it, huh? Yeah, that's rare. Let's see if they admitted it or they didn't say anything. Okay, yeah, there's a dent in the package on the bottom, small crack in the plastic. Yeah, this item, guys, I've sold this item before in the past. I don't think I've sold it anytime recently. Oh, I have 6 times. But let's analyze this. Let's pretend this item wasn't smashed up. This is a really good item to sell used as well. Look at this thing, 150 all day long, 160. If you go to data, buy box statistics, the last 90 days, looks like that's used. 135, 182, 150, 140 right now. And I mean, this is a $150 item all day long. Unfortunately, the item is damaged. There is a best offer as well, so we could always make a best offer, but I'm not going to mess with that item just because, you know, it's damaged. What do we have here? 39 to 80. That's overly inflated. You could see there's a history of this selling for up to 80. Just recently, someone had it priced at 80, but this is probably a $60, $70 item. I've sold this before for 54 and for 68.94. Yeah, exactly, Adam. With items like that, and good to see you, Adam, you don't really want to risk it. Is this item brand new sealed? It looks like it is. I don't like that. You guys notice that in the back? It's like all wrinkled up. It looks like there's like water damage or something, even maybe a piece of tape. I don't know. This thing kind of looks sketchy. I don't like the look of it. I don't know why. It's just my gut feeling is saying something's weird with this. Kind of looks like that might be a counterfeit too. I don't know. It just, I don't know. I don't like that at all. I'm skipping that item. The good thing is, guys, with like eBay to Amazon, we'll go back to the live stream. There's always hundreds of thousands of new opportunities every single day. So if an item kind of looks a little sketch, why are you going to risk it, right? Like, why are you going to risk it? See, I'm gated on this one right here. Wow, there's an amiibo. Is that a mismatch? Yeah, it's a mismatch. So yeah, if you guys have any questions, feel free to ask away, and I am happy to answer. That looks like it's the same item. Pretty sure that's the same item. 29 to 57. There's a history of this selling for 60 to 70 bucks all day long. $13 profit at 57. Let's take a look at this. Seven sales a month. Looks like there are some variations. Yeah, lowest FBA is at $57.94. Hey, look, it's Ozone Toys again. We just saw them on another listing. This would be a good person to storefront stalk. I did a video the other day. If If you ever want to storefront stalk someone, you can just go to buy box statistics, find them, click on them, and check this out. This is crazy. You can open up their store in Keepa, and we can see what they're selling. So they're 93% toys and games. I can click into that. I could go to advanced filter, and let's just say I want to see all their toys that are between 50,000 rank. And let's just say 500,000 rank. I'm doing that because they had a lot of fast selling toys that probably wouldn't be good for eBay to Amazon. Let's just say everything over 50 bucks. 664 items. How about everything over, let's go to monthly sales. So I want to say, let's just say there's been at least 5 sales in the last 30 days. Items selling over 50. Let's just say over 75. I want to find their best of their best. Ranked 50,000 to 500,000. That's 129 products. I could hit find products. Since it's 129, I got to open that up to 500. Boom. Check out all these products. Now, if I wanted to track and monitor all these products on Replen Catcher, check this out. This is pretty cool. I'm going to go to export, ASINs only. I'm going to say 129 Ozone toys. Boom. I just downloaded it. Now I'm going to go over to Replen Catcher. I'm going to go to import. I'm going to open up this template. I'm going to make a copy of this template. So I'm going to call this Ozone Toys. All right. And now I need to open up that download of those 129 toys that I just found from Ozone Toys. I'm going to copy them all. Just like that. I'm going to X out. Oops. Now I'm going to paste them in, and I'm going to call these replens. I want to track all these new on eBay. And all I got to do is pull this down just like that. And this is a one-time thing. And now I just need to download it. Download CSV. So I'm going to call these 129 toys upload now. Boom. Go to Replen Catcher, bulk upload. And I am going to upload these toys. So this will probably take, a couple hours in the background, but you'll start to see in a minute or two all these items that I just downloaded from their store and filtered them. I'm going to upload them to Replen Catcher. And then within a couple of hours, these things are all going to get uploaded, and all these items are going to be tracked within the Replen Catcher, looking 24/7 around the clock for these toys. If they come up on eBay at least, I have it set at least a 30% ROI, but you could set it higher or lower based on whatever you want to do. But yeah, it's pretty cool. Wouldn't the items in your replens list show up in the live stream? So Jesse, that's a great question. Anything you upload to your Replen Catcher is just for you. Now, we've got about 2 million products that we're tracking in the live stream that we've used by using like Keep a Product Finder and different things, but we don't take, like, say you upload 500 of your replens, Jesse. We're not taking your replens and uploading them to live stream. That would be messed up. These are our own lists. The thing is, there's 300 million products on Amazon. We're only tracking 2 million products in the live stream. So, it might sound easy, Jesse, to be like, well, just take all 300 million products and track them on eBay 24/7. That would be like $1 million a month to do. It'd be almost impossible. And to do it fast, like Replen Catcher does, it would be pretty much impossible. So the value in the replen area of what I'm doing is there's a good chance there's quite a few items that the live stream isn't tracking in our database, right? Because we could only show you items in the live stream that we're tracking in our database of about 2 million products. Again, we're probably going to grow that over time, but it's very expensive for Replen Catcher to track and monitor 2 million products 24/7. There's 300 plus million products on Amazon. Of course, not all of them are going to be good flips, but there's millions of products. So the purpose of the replen area is to track and monitor your best items, and also items that are probably or may not be in the live stream, if that makes sense. Doesn't mean these won't be in the live stream, but there's a good chance there's probably a bunch of them that aren't being tracked in the live stream. Yeah, it's super important. And again, we're not taking users' data from the replens list and put it in the live stream. That would be messed up. So I wouldn't want my replens being in there. Although some of them might be, just because, you know, we've got a database of 2 million products, but we're not pulling from the replens list and, you know, screwing over users like that, just to let you know. So you can see it's 9% uploaded. 6 I've already got on my replens list. 5 new ones have already been processed. So yeah, I mean, it's pretty cool, right? And then again, you could go into your replens list and you can see what's available. And this is always updating 24/7 around the clock. So right here, you can see, look, this is an item that's on my replens list right here. Hulk Hogan. It doesn't look like I've sold this in a while, but there's one available for $21.63. And there's a history of this selling for 50, 60 bucks. Why is it sitting here? It's probably not in the live stream, right? That's a mismatch. I don't know what that is. That's a mismatch. That's another mismatch. Oh, here's that Racco. Remember I told you I just sold this for $60.99 the other day? Look, Replen Catcher just found a bunch of them. Matter of fact, they found 7 offers. So if you click view offers, it'll open up another box with all the opportunities, and you can filter it from lowest price. So I know I just sold this puppy for $60.99. I can pick this up right now for $26.36, $11 profit. $11 profit. And that's minus $7 in fees, a $2 prep fee and a $5 miscellaneous fee. For you, you'd make like 17 bucks. Let's see if this is still available. Boom. Look at that. That is the power of having a replens list. Why is this not gone? It's probably not being tracked in the live stream. I didn't realize the live stream wasn't every eBay product. Yeah, when I first started this software, I used to use Flipmine, and I used to think, like, they're missing so many deals. Like, how is Flipmine missing so many deals? Like, I couldn't understand. Well, the reality is they only have a couple million products they're tracking as well. In order to track every single product, people don't realize how hard it is to build a software like Replen Catcher or Flipmine. I'm just being 100% honest. It's very expensive. It's very complicated. There's millions of processes. There's a lot of limitations on eBay side, on Amazon side. It looks easy. I thought it was easy when I first started it, and it was a a glass of cold water thrown in my face. But yeah, I mean, there's opportunities here all day long, guys. That's why there's just so many opportunities, guys. Let's see what my team has purchased so far today. I'm going to go to my eBay account. Let's go to purchase history. July 8th. Yeah, we bought this Amazed board game for 40. Sennheiser digital TV for 89. Look, July 8th. Another one for 84. Another electronic. We bought a DVD today for 40.38. I've sold that before. I think I sold this for like 80 bucks or so. Oh yeah, I love flipping these. I just made a YouTube video about it, the Radica games. Oh, they've already replenished. Is this damaged? Okay, I thought this was damaged. I was about to reach out to my team, but yeah, guys, there's tons of opportunities here all day long. All day long. If anyone has any questions, feel free to ask away. Don't sell this item, guys, right here. We got to block this thing. Every time I try to ship this thing into Amazon, it always goes stranded. The World of War. I don't know what the problem is with that DVD. Let's go back over to the live stream. What's up, Mr. Exquisite in the house? These always do really well, like these 4-film collection DVDs. $12.43 to $29. This thing was actually selling up around 30, 40 bucks. It looks like the price has really come down. This might be a good seasonal flip. Not really. Yeah, this thing's come down quite a bit. Is anybody on this listing new? It's all FBM sellers. $29.99 right here. Rapid Prime Pros. I always see this person. This is a good person to storefront stock their DVDs. Let's take a look at the buy box history. Guys, I live and die by this buy box history. I love it. I like to see a history of other FBA sellers winning it at good prices. 28, 28, 29, 29. I probably could sell this for 29 bucks. Buy it for 12.43, sell it for 29. I mean, it's $7 profit. It's not that great. I would probably try to get that for like $7 or $8. Oh, here's one, 27.88. I bet you this is sold. Oh no. You see what happened? You got to watch out, guys, when you're buying on eBay. Look, brand new. Does this look brand new? Unviewed DVDs. I'm going to call it brand new. Buddy, that's not brand new. That's used. Yep. 4 film collections are great if you find the right ones. Exactly. I don't like that the buy box is suppressed. Yeah, that's another thing to keep in mind, Adam, for sure. How do you deal with IP complaints when sourcing from eBay? Check out this latest video that I posted on my YouTube channel, Lawrence. If you go to my YouTube channel, I made a video that's called How to Fly Under the Radar. So if you go over to my channel, this one right here, watch this video right here. I really break down how I fly under the radar. And let's check. Let's see how my Amazon score is right now. I haven't checked today. Maybe I've got an IP complaint, but let's see how my account health rating is doing today. But in a nutshell, just to kind of give you a quick answer, you want to go after items that aren't super popular. You want to focus on like replens, items you've sold before constantly that haven't given you issues. You want to make sure the brand isn't on the listing. You want to make sure that there's no big sharp declines in the price history. So like right here, this is a natural staircase of just selling, but like you wouldn't want to see like, I don't know, 15 people on the listing and then the next day it's down to 1, right? Going after items that are selling only a couple times a month, 5, 10 times a month. Now, I showed you some of my sales, and if you research them, some of them are a bit riskier. Some of these things might sell 30, 40, 50 times a month. But you have to understand, and just like, if I could just be perfectly blunt with you guys, like I have a seasoned account. I've sold a lot of items. I've experimented with a lot of items. I have gotten IP complaints in the past, probably 8 or 9 over the last 10 years. So I kind of know like how far I could press my boundaries and whatnot. Doesn't mean I'm not going to get kicked off one day, just to be real. I mean, anytime you thrift or do eBay to Amazon or garage sales or Facebook Marketplace, sell stuff without invoices, you never know. You never know what could happen. But yeah, I mean, if you take a look, let me see if I could, I don't know if you'll be able to see this or not. Can you see? Are you guys able to see my screen? Let me see if I could. The glare is brutal. It's all zeros. You're probably not going to be able to see it. The glare is too bad, but I have 0 IP complaints. I have zero suspected. It says I have 13 violations at the top, but those are all high pricing errors. High pricing error, high pricing error, high pricing error. So those have no impact. But I have 0 intellectual property violations suspected, received. I have 0 authenticity customer complaints. 0. Sorry, I just clicked something. Condition complaints, food and safety. I've gotten them in the past, but you could usually get them removed. Yeah, absolutely, Lawrence. Absolutely. So I'm going to hang out and answer some more questions. It looks like Gary said, sorry for missing this, Gary. How do you handle new electronic returns that have been opened? So yeah, that's a great question. So if an electronic or any item gets returned, Gary, it's going to get returned back to Amazon FBA, and the workers are going to either determine that the item is sellable or unsellable. Sellable means that it can go back in your inventory and it'll go back up for sale again. If it's deemed sellable, we just resell it again and hope and pray that the people who, inspected it, the workers that are making minimum wage, no offense, actually give a rat's ass about your account, because the worst thing that happens is the item's sellable and then it goes into this vicious return cycle. So we're kind of keeping an eye out for items that get returned more than once, and then we'll take it out. But if it's sellable, we'll sell it again. If it's unsellable, we have a rule: if the item is over $30, we have it shipped back to the house. All my items are over 30 because my average selling price is over 100 now. So we get them all shipped back to the house. Once they get shipped back to the house, we'll deem if the items are actually sellable or unsellable. If we could resell them again, we'll send them out. If we can't resell them and they're damaged, I just been liquidating them to my friend Vinny. You might know Vinny, the toy master on the YouTube channel. He sells toys and all different types of items. He sells on eBay. I know I'm losing a lot of money by not selling my stuff on eBay because I'm giving him the stuff like at 20 or 30% of what I could sell it for on eBay. But the way I look at it, Gary, is I'm doing 6 figures profit per year, only working 1 to 2 hours a week. So why would I want to go from 1 to 2 hours a month? Why would I want to go from working 1 to 2 hours a month and making literally over $100,000 in my pocket? I'm not talking revenue. I'm not talking profit. I'm talking net, like cash flow in my pocket. Why would I want to go from working 1 to 2 hours a month, literally doing nothing, to make an extra $7,000 over the year? But now I got to be like managing an eBay store and all the returns and listing and shipping. Like, I'm honestly really focused on like building Replen Catcher, to be honest with you. Like, I'm focused on like other business opportunities. So for me, like, I'm just trying to run my Amazon, my physical Amazon business, as freaking outsourced and as just as hands off as possible. So it's kind of silly, but Vinny's my best friend as well. Yeah, Mr. Exquisite, he knows Vinny. Met up with Vinny at the thrifting meetup. He's one of my best friends, so I'm happy to put the money in his pocket. Helps him out as well, and puts, you know, a little bit of money in my pocket for these losses. And you know, it is what it is. But sometimes in business, we spend a lot of our time picking up pennies when we could be spending our time picking up $20 bills. But if we don't consciously make the decision not to pick up the pennies, then we're going to be stuck picking up the pennies and we're never going to see the $20 bill on the ground. So that's kind of the way that I look at things. What's up, John? Under the radar FBA is the way to go. People always give me so much trouble for saying flying under the radar, but that's what we do. We fly under the radar. Now, some of my items aren't under the radar. I'll be 100% honest. Some of my items are definitely on the radar, but I've sold them many times before. I have experience with them. You know, they're replens, or I've done my research. Maybe the brand's not on the listing. You know, also another thing too is like, if you start getting letters in the mail with like threatening letters from like law firms and stuff, or vories, I'll usually stop selling those items as well, because I just don't want to get an IP complaint. So I've kind of tested out a lot of the items. Like, if you find my store and you see some of these items, you might be like, well, Steve's contradicting himself. There's always nuances to everything. That's what I'm trying to say. But if you're brand new, I would say just start with used books, start with DVDs. If you're nervous about selling new, then just sell used. What do you have 8 now of, Jesse? IP complaints? I'm 8 years in, been following you since early days of selling books. LOL, love seeing us still grinding under the radar. Yeah, I mean, we're doing it. But, you know, Amazon's definitely a different beast nowadays. Oh, cease and desist, Jesse. Yeah. So Jesse said he's gotten 8 cease and desists. I've probably gotten like 100. Maybe, yeah, probably 100, 150 over the last 5 years. Probably 3 years, because the first couple of years I was doing DVDs. You're not going to get the cease and desist. Those are bullshit. Those are from freaking loser brands who don't take the time to get their brand freaking represented, or like they don't get it trademarked or whatever. So they can't even, I don't know what's wrong with these brands. They're a bunch of losers, but threatening you and hiring lawyers, that's all I'm going to say is karma's going to come back to those people. But it's ridiculous. Like, it's honestly like, it's so messed up, but I get it. They're trying to like protect their brand and whatnot, but, those letters are bullshit. Honestly, you could use them to just make a fire in the backyard. But for me personally, guys, like, everyone's personality is different. I'm very conservative. Like, I'm not super risky. You might think I am because I do eBay to Amazon, but I have friends of mine who they get the letters in the mail and they just keep selling those ASINs over and over and over again. I'm a little more like paranoid. So if I start getting cease and desist letters, I'll usually stop selling that particular ASIN. And all because you get a cease and desist doesn't mean you have to stop selling the brand. And this isn't legal advice. But I'll stop typically selling the ASIN just because I don't have legitimate invoices, right? I'm buying from thrift stores and eBay and different things like that. So I'll usually just stop selling it. I think the problem is it costs too much to sue. Yeah, so they just scare you. It's crazy. Let's do a little check to see how sales are going. Let's do a sales check, guys. All right, today, 21 orders for $1,967. Let's go through some of these sales together, guys. Sold a Brother pack of 2 cartridges. So this is probably toner, paid $17, sold it for $50.99. Sold some smoke and carbon monoxide detectors, $38 into $87.99. You've already seen some of these items that I shared with you. Sennheiser, or I don't even know how to pronounce that. Wireless earbuds. So that's probably an item that maybe is selling a little bit faster. Let me check. Let me see if this one breaks my rules. Let me share my screen real quick. Some of these items, I want to see how risky they actually are. Let's share my screen. Yeah, so I sold Sennheiser headphones, paid $82, sold it for $180.99. Where the hell is that? Oh, right here. Let's see if this is actually this kind of looks risky. Oh, only 34 sales a month. So this item isn't super duper popular. Amazon, they come and go off the listing. See, what I like about this one is there's a history of sellers on it, and it's getting less and less. And this listing's been open for 1,200 days. So this item's like 3, 4, or 5 years old probably. So it's not super popular anymore. This brand probably isn't paying attention to it too much. Amazon, they're starting to come off the listing recently. We've sold this item before. How many times have I sold this? Oh, I only sold it once. I only sold that item once. But that's kind of an item that I would say is a little bit more on the riskier side. Yeah. All right, let's keep going through some of these sales. What else did I sell? Toner, paid $45, sold it for $92. DVD, $55, sold it for $65. That's not good at all. Sold an item for $65 that I paid $55 for. Bought it in February. So March, April, May, June, July. So that's why we sold it for $65. We have some pretty nasty rules set up with repricing if it doesn't sell after a month or two. Like we'll usually try to break even after like 2 months. So that item wasn't selling. I'm actually curious why. Let's analyze why this item went to shit. Let's see the mistake that we made. This item. So you can see I paid $55 and I sold it for $65. You can see it in my custom SKU. Let's see what went wrong with this. So I bought this item in February for $55. Whoa. So look at this. This is called tanking. Tanking. Let's see. Why was it tanking? Well, you can see right here. Look at the offer count. It's going up. It just kept going up and up and up. And look at the demand went down. Look at this. You see this green line where there's no drops? This thing just freaking didn't sell at all. Literally from February to freaking mid-May, it only had one sale. So everybody was just repricing against each other. And I'm sure I was part of the problem as well. And the demand just dropped off. It looks like the demand picked back up again when it came back down to this price. The market wanted to pay $48.50, $55. The market did not want to pay these outrageous prices. Look at this. Yeah, that's interesting. So the offer count went up like crazy. And what happened? Everyone just started repricing. And the problem is when you get a bunch of people fighting and then the market goes to crap, which means like the demand wasn't there, that's when you get the price tanking. We just couldn't get the sale. So it happens. When did we buy this? We bought this in February. So if I was right here, see, that's already a red flag. When my team purchased it, look at the offer count, went from freaking almost none up to freaking 10. So we should have known that there was going to be a price war, which there was. And this wasn't a super popular item. So that's just another thing to look out for. I mean, it was pretty popular back then. I mean, it was consistent, but just too many people came on the listing. That's normally what happens. All right, let's see what other questions we got. All right, well, I think that's it, guys. We're at about the hour mark. Just want to thank everybody for watching and for hanging out. I definitely want to do more of these live streams, so stay on the lookout for them. I definitely enjoy sourcing and analyzing deals and talking Amazon and talking shop. Hope you guys have a beautiful day, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Much love. Bye-bye.